How to spot a dream seller, the jackal in the marketplace of minds. The everyday transaction. This reflection is for anyone who has ever been sold a dream. For the worker promised purpose in endless productivity. For the entrepreneur told that hustle is holiness. For the student chasing validation disguised as education. For the lover believing that perfection is love. For the citizen persuaded that fear equals truth. For the seeker mistaking noise for wisdom. For the believer confusing symbols for spirit. For the wanderer searching everywhere but within. This is for every human being who has, in some quiet way, paid a psychological price for belonging. Who has bought into the illusion that life can be made simple, painless, or certain. We live in a marketplace of minds. Every screen, every slogan, every smiling face behind a promise participates in a transaction, not always for money, but for belief. We buy comfort with our attention, we buy hope with our trust, and we buy identity with our silence. The dream seller is not only a person, it is a pattern, a force of persuasion that thrives wherever self-doubt meets desire. To spot a dream seller is not to condemn the world, but to awaken within it. To see the hidden costs of living unconsciously, and to reclaim the currency of awareness. Now, let us descend into the psyche's hidden economy. The stage of desire. Man is not what he thinks he is what he hides. André Malraux. Beneath every promise we buy lies a deeper hunger, the need to feel whole. The dream seller knows this. They do not sell the product, they sell permission. Permission to believe that the ache inside you can be soothed from the outside. In the theater of the mind, we crave resolution. The dream seller steps into that stage light, offering symbols of safety, status, or transcendence. And as the spotlight narrows, the self dissolves into the audience's applause. The invisible transaction. People don't have ideas. Ideas have people. Carl Jung. Every illusion has a price tag, though it's rarely printed in dollars. We trade our attention for comfort, our skepticism for belonging. The dream seller thrives on this hidden currency, attention. When belief becomes a commodity, truth becomes optional. The psychological economy rewards whatever feels real, even if it isn't. That's the first sign. When emotion replaces evidence, the sale has already begun. The mirror effect. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. Carl Jung. The dream seller's mirror reflects not who you are, but who you wish you were. They hold it up gently, with affirmation and aesthetic charm. You don't see manipulation, you see potential. But every mirror distorts. What we project onto the dream seller is our own unlived life, our unspoken longing for coherence. To spot a dream seller, you must first spot your reflection. not in them, but in the fantasy they awaken. The currency of hope. He who has a why to live can bear almost anyhow. Friedrich Nietzsche. Hope is the most powerful psychological narcotic ever discovered. The dream seller repackages hope, in courses, in ideologies, in identities. They don't promise change, they promise meaning. We forget that meaning cannot be purchased, it must be constructed. And the construction is painful. It demands solitude, doubt, and work. The dream seller removes all three. That's how they make the price feel invisible. The Neuroscience of Persuasion. The brain is a prediction machine. It hates uncertainty more than it hates pain. Anil Seth. Cognitive science shows that the human mind seeks patterns, even false ones, to feel safe. Dream sellers exploit this bias through dopamine cycles, micro-rewards of affirmation, anticipation, and belonging. Their language is rhythmic, their visuals saturated, their tone hypnotic. The brain mistakes the repetition of confidence for truth. The dream seller's secret weapon isn't persuasion, it's predictability. The seduction of certainty. The need for certainty is the greatest disease the mind faces. Alan Watts. Certainty is the opiate of the modern mind. In a world that changes faster than we can adapt, the dream seller becomes a stabilizer, a voice that says, "Trust me, I know the way." But knowledge without doubt is not wisdom, it's marketing. The mature psyche learns to stand inside uncertainty without collapsing. The dream seller cannot survive in that space. Their empire depends on your discomfort with ambiguity. The illusion of community. Loneliness does not come from having no people around, but from being unable to communicate the things that seem important. Carl Jung. Dream sellers build communities not around truth, but around validation. These circles of agreement offer emotional warmth, a simulated family that replaces authentic connection with ideological unity. Within that comfort, dissent feels like betrayal. You begin to police your thoughts, to maintain belonging. What's sold as empowerment becomes subtle dependence, a collective trance disguised as community. The language of light. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. John chapter 1:5. The dream seller speaks the language of light, purity, elevation, awakening. But light without shadow blinds. They promise illumination without the descent, transcendence without confrontation. To truly awaken, one must travel through the underworld of one's own psyche. The dream seller offers shortcuts. Sanitized enlightenment, a version of truth with all the pain edited out. That's how illusion sustains itself, through selective light. The ego's marketplace. The greatest burden a child must bear is the unlived life of the parent. Carl Jung. We inherit desires we didn't choose: status, approval, perfection. The dream seller converts these ancestral burdens into lifestyle aspirations. Every click, every ad, every slogan whispers, "Be more than you are." But ego expansion is not evolution, it's inflation. The modern psyche has mistaken display for depth. And the more we curate ourselves, the further we drift from authenticity. Dream sellers thrive on that drift. It keeps us shopping for identity. The psychological price tag. When we are no longer able to change a situation, we are challenged to change ourselves. Viktor Frankl. The true cost of living unconsciously is subtle. Emotional exhaustion, moral fatigue, and a quiet sense of fraudulence. We pretend to be certain, to be healed, to be enlightened, because the dream seller told us we could be. But every false awakening deepens the sleep. The psyche grows brittle, dependent on external validation. The price is paid not once, but daily, in authenticity lost, in presence eroded, in the quiet ache of self-betrayal. The withdrawal from illusion. Freedom is nothing but a chance to be better. Albert Camus. Spotting a dream seller is not an act of cynicism, it's an act of liberation. It begins with noticing where your hope has been outsourced. To withdraw from illusion is painful, it feels like grief. But beneath that grief lies clarity. You begin to see that no one can sell you what only self-honesty can build. The dream collapses, and in its ruins, you rediscover the simple beauty of being awake. The quiet cost of awareness. The price of greatness is responsibility. Winston Churchill. Awareness carries its own cost, the loss of comfortable illusions. But it also grants sovereignty, the ability to think, feel, and choose without external scripts. The dream seller thrives in noise. Awareness begins in silence. When you learn to sit with that silence, you no longer need to buy meaning, you create it. And that creation is priceless. This is the expensive psyche, where we explore what it truly costs to live unconsciously. Thanks for your time. It's been a delight. What should we explore next? Comment, share, and save your insight. Subscribe to Orbital Reads and keep your thoughts bright.